We live in a world full of gadgets, notifications, and endless information. Every day, we wake up thinking we have hours to work, learn, and grow. But by the end of the day, we feel exhausted and we realize we haven't accomplished what truly matters. Why? Because distraction is silently eating our attention. I have seen this not just in young people, but also in highly successful professionals. They check their phones every few minutes, reply to messages instantly, and jump from task to task without finishing anything meaningful. They are busy, but not productive. Today I want to talk about something that is quietly affecting every one of us, something so subtle that we often do not notice it until its consequences have already changed our lives. I call it the silent epidemic of distraction. It is everywhere, in our offices, in our homes, even in our relationships. We wake up thinking we have hours to do meaningful work, to learn, to grow, and to pursue our dreams. Yet, by the end of the day, many of us feel exhausted, frustrated, and somehow empty because we realize we spent more time reacting to the world than actually living our lives intentionally. Think about this. How many times have you reached for your phone this morning only to check messages, notifications, or news that in reality do not move your life forward? How many times have you jumped from task to task without completing anything meaningful? We tell ourselves we are busy, but being busy is not the same as being productive. Distraction is invisible, but it is powerful. It steals our most valuable resource, attention. And attention, my friends, is the foundation of creativity, innovation, and true achievement. I remember early in my career when I was trying to start something meaningful, I would sit at my desk with thinking about the future. And yet, I found myself constantly pulled away by small interruptions, emails, calls, even casual conversations. I realized that every time I gave in to these distractions, I was choosing short-term comfort over long-term success. This was a lesson that shaped how I approached my work, my focus, and my life. The world will always have noise, and it will always demand your attention. But the question is, will you let it control you, or will you control it? Distraction is not just a habit, it is a choice. And the cost of that choice is high. When we allow ourselves to be constantly distracted, we miss opportunities to learn, to innovate, and to connect deeply with people and ideas. We trade hours for minutes, moments for fleeting attention, and at the end of the day, we often ask ourselves why we feel unfulfilled. Many of the most successful people I have observed are not the ones with the greatest talent, they are the ones with the greatest focus. Talent will only take you so far. Focus, persistence, and the ability to protect your attention will take you much farther. The epidemic of distraction is especially dangerous today because it disguises itself as opportunity. Every notification, every ping, every news alert promises something new, something urgent, something exciting. And we respond without thinking. But here is the truth. What feels urgent is rarely what is important. What feels exciting often does not contribute to the growth of our dreams. Learning to distinguish between what is urgent and what is truly meaningful is the first step in overcoming this silent epidemic. We can fight distraction, but it requires intention. Fighting distraction is not about working harder, it is about working smarter. It is about building habits that protect your attention and give you the freedom to focus on what matters most. It is about learning to say no, not just to others, but to the things that constantly demand your attention without giving you value in return. Focus is not easy. In fact, it is one of the hardest skills to master in today's world. But the rewards are immense. Focus allows creativity to flow, ideas to develop, and actions to have impact. Consistency, patience, and deliberate practice are the tools we use to fight distraction. The ability to stay present, to dedicate yourself fully to a single task, to nurture deep work. These are skills that will carry you further than any shortcut, trend, or hack. It is not the person who does a little of everything who achieves greatness. It is the person who dedicates themselves fully to what matters most, who protects their time, their energy, and their mind from the silent forces that seek to scatter them. Today, I encourage you to pause and reflect. Look at your life and ask yourself whether you are living intentionally or whether distractions are quietly shaping your path for you. Each choice you make in favor of focus, each moment you resist the pull of noise, brings you closer to the life you want to create. In a world that constantly demands your attention, your ability to protect it is one of the most powerful skills you can cultivate today. I want to talk about something that many people overlook, but is critical to success, the power of failure. In our culture, failure is often seen as something to avoid, something shameful. But the truth is, failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the journey toward it. Every person who has achieved something great has failed countless times, and it is those failures that have shaped their skills, their mindset, and their vision. I remember when I was young, trying to find my place in the world, I was rejected from so many jobs. I was turned down from dozens of positions, including one very famous one where I was told I was not qualified. People around me would ask why I kept trying, why I didn't just give up and settle. And I would smile and say, the lesson is in the failure. Every no I received taught me something important about myself, about perseverance, and about how the world works. Each rejection was a step forward, even if it didn't feel like it at the time. Failure is a teacher, but only if we are willing to learn from it. Many people fear failure because they think it defines them, but it doesn't. Failure is temporary, but the lessons it brings are permanent. When you fail, you learn what doesn't work. When you fail, you see the gaps in your knowledge, in your strategy, and in your execution. When you fail, you develop resilience, creativity, and problem-solving skills that success alone cannot teach. The people who achieve greatness are not those who avoid failure. They are the ones who embrace it, study it, and use it as fuel. They understand that innovation comes from trying new things, taking risks, and sometimes falling flat on their faces. If you never fail, it may mean you are playing it too safe, that you are not pushing your limits or testing the boundaries of your abilities. Failure also teaches humility. When you fail, you realize that no matter how smart or talented you are, there are always lessons to learn. There are always areas where you can improve. Humility opens the door to collaboration, to listening, and to understanding that you do not have all the answers. Without failure, it is easy to become arrogant or complacent, believing that success is permanent and effortless. One of the most important things about failure is timing. Sometimes, what feels like failure in the moment is actually preparation for a future opportunity. Life has a way of connecting the dots backward. Looking back, you will see that many of the failures were really stepping stones. They were shaping your character, your persistence, and your insight. But to benefit from these lessons, you must not give up. You must not despair, and you must keep moving forward even when the path seems unclear. Another important aspect of failure is perspective. When you fail, it is natural to feel discouraged, even frustrated. But it is in those moments that you must ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I do better next time? Every failure contains a seed of improvement if you are willing to look for it. Many people focus on the pain of failure, but the truly successful focus on the opportunity it provides. I have observed many young entrepreneurs who fear failure so much that they never start. They wait for the perfect idea, the perfect timing, or the perfect conditions. But life does not wait. Opportunities are rarely perfect. The real skill is learning to move forward, to experiment, to try, to fail, and then to try again with greater wisdom. That cycle of trying, failing, learning, and improving is the engine of progress, the heart of achievement, and the foundation of every meaningful journey. Failure also builds character. When you experience setbacks and keep going, you develop patience, resilience, and self-confidence. You learn to trust yourself even when the world doubts you. You learn that your worth is not determined by a single result, a single mistake, or a single setback. Instead, your worth is defined by your persistence, your courage, and your willingness to grow through the challenges life presents. And perhaps most importantly, failure teaches gratitude. When you finally succeed after multiple setbacks, you value that success more deeply. You understand the effort it took, the lessons you learned, and the journey that shaped you. Success without struggle is fleeting. Success earned through overcoming failure is lasting. Every failure is a message, a teacher, and a guide. It is not the end of your story. It is part of your story. How you respond to failure, how you embrace it, and how you learn from it will determine whether you move closer to your dreams or remain stuck in fear and hesitation. Today I want to talk about a quality that is often underestimated but is absolutely critical to success: resilience. Life will challenge you in ways you cannot predict. It will test your patience, your confidence, and sometimes your very belief in yourself. But it is not the challenges that define you, it is how you respond to them. Resilience is the ability to keep moving forward even when the world seems to be against you, the ability to stay focused on your goals when everything around you tells you to give up. I remember when I first started my journey, there were countless moments when failure seemed inevitable. People laughed at my ideas, doors closed in my face, and the obstacles seemed endless. Many would have quit. Many did quit. But I learned early that resilience is what separates those who eventually succeed from those who never realize their potential. Every setback is not a reason to stop. It is an opportunity to learn, to adapt, and to become stronger. Resilience is built through experience. It is forged when you face difficulties head on and refuse to be defeated. It is developed when you take responsibility for your mistakes, when you learn from them instead of blaming others, and when you find the courage to try again, even when failure is familiar. Life does not hand out resilience as a gift. It is something you cultivate over time, moment by moment, decision by decision. Many people confuse resilience with stubbornness. Resilience is not blindly continuing on a path that is clearly wrong. It is the wisdom to persevere in what matters, to adjust strategies while keeping sight of your ultimate goals. It is the patience to keep learning, the humility to seek advice, and the flexibility to innovate when circumstances demand it. Without resilience, even the best ideas can falter. Without resilience, talent alone cannot carry you through the obstacles life will inevitably place in your path. Resilience also comes from perspective. When challenges arise, it is natural to feel discouraged or overwhelmed. But the most resilient people see setbacks not as disasters, but as part of a larger journey. They understand that temporary difficulties are not permanent, that each obstacle carries a lesson, and that every challenge is shaping them into a stronger, wiser person. Perspective allows you to remain calm when others panic, to find solutions when others give up, and to continue moving forward when others see only dead ends. Another key element of resilience is persistence. Success rarely comes overnight, and the path is rarely smooth. There will be failures, delays, and disappointments. But those who cultivate persistence understand that small, consistent efforts often produce far greater results than sporadic bursts of energy. Resilience is strengthened by persistence because every small step forward, every effort to keep going despite obstacles, reinforces the belief that you can overcome the next challenge. I have seen countless examples of people who achieved greatness not because they were the smartest or the most talented, but because they refused to quit. They understood that life is not about avoiding storms, but learning how to sail through them. Resilience allows you to embrace uncertainty, to take risks, and to keep trying even when the odds seem stacked against you. It teaches patience, courage, and a deep confidence that you can handle whatever comes your way. Resilience is also deeply connected to vision. When you have a clear goal, a purpose that inspires you, it becomes easier to withstand setbacks. People who are resilient know why they are pursuing their dreams, and that understanding gives them strength to continue when motivation wanes. Without a vision, it is easy to give up at the first sign of difficulty. But with a clear purpose, challenges become temporary obstacles rather than permanent barriers. Finally, resilience is contagious. When you demonstrate resilience, you inspire others around you to do the same. Teams, communities, and organizations thrive when they are led by people who model persistence, adaptability, and courage. Resilience is not only a personal strength, it creates ripple effects that elevate everyone around you. It turns challenges into opportunities for growth, adversity into lessons for improvement, and setbacks into stepping stones toward success. Resilience is not something you are born with. It is something you cultivate through action, reflection, and persistence. Every time you face difficulty and choose to continue, every time you confront fear and refuse to be paralyzed, you are building resilience. It grows with every challenge, every failure, and every effort to rise stronger than before. Today, I want to talk about something that is often overlooked, but is essential for anyone who wants to achieve lasting success, the importance of learning from people's mistakes. Life is full of lessons, and while we often focus on our own failures, we sometimes forget that the mistakes of others can teach us just as much, if not more. Observing what others have done wrong, understanding their choices, and reflecting on their experiences can save us years of struggle and guide us toward better decisions. When I was starting out, I didn't have the resources or the experience to make every mistake myself, but I learned to pay attention to the journeys of those around me. The entrepreneurs, the leaders, and even those who failed spectacularly. I realized that one of the fastest ways to grow was to study not only what works, but also what does not work. The world is full of examples of people who had great ideas but lost everything because of poor decisions, bad timing, or lack of focus. Understanding their mistakes helped me avoid repeating them and shape my approach to business and life. One of the most important lessons from observing mistakes is the value of humility. When we see someone else fail, it is easy to think, I would never do that. But the truth is, under different circumstances, we could make the same mistakes. Humility allows us to accept that we are not perfect, that we have blind spots, and that learning from others is a sign of strength, not weakness. It teaches us to listen, to ask questions, and to remain open to guidance even when we think we know the answers. Another critical lesson is patience. Many mistakes happen because people want immediate results. They take shortcuts, ignore processes, or make decisions too quickly. By observing others' failures, we learn that success is rarely instant. It is built through consistent effort, thoughtful planning, and the willingness to invest time in building a solid foundation. Learning from mistakes shows us that rushing or skipping steps is often more costly than slow, steady progress. Failure also teaches us the importance of adaptability. Life and business are unpredictable. Markets change, technology evolves, and circumstances shift. People who fail often do so because they were rigid, unwilling to adapt, or resistant to change. By studying these errors, we learn to remain flexible, to anticipate shifts, and to adjust our strategies before problems become catastrophic. Adaptability is not just a skill. It is a mindset that allows us to survive and thrive in an uncertain world. Learning from other people's mistakes also emphasizes the importance of integrity and relationships. Many failures occur because people compromised their values, cut corners, or ignored ethical principles. Observing these consequences reinforces the idea that short-term gains achieved through dishonesty or neglect can destroy long-term opportunities. Strong relationships, trust, and credibility cannot be replaced once lost, and understanding the mistakes of others helps us prioritize these intangible but vital aspects of life and business. Perhaps one of the most powerful lessons we can learn from others' mistakes is resilience. When we see how someone stumbled, recovered, or failed completely, we gain insight into the importance of persistence and courage. We see that mistakes are not the end. They are part of a larger journey. Observing how others handle setbacks can teach us the strategies, mindset, and attitude required to recover and move forward stronger than before. Another benefit of learning from others' mistakes is efficiency. Life is too short to make every mistake ourselves. By paying attention, asking questions, and reflecting on experiences that are not our own, we can accelerate our growth and avoid unnecessary hardships. This is how wisdom is passed down across generations and across industries, by standing on the shoulders of those who came before us, both through their successes and their failures. Finally, learning from mistakes teaches foresight. It develops the ability to anticipate consequences, to evaluate risks, and to make informed decisions. People who master this skill can navigate challenges more effectively, seize opportunities more confidently, and create strategies that are thoughtful, deliberate, and sustainable. Observing the errors of others is like having a map that guides us away from the pitfalls and toward paths that lead to growth, innovation, and fulfillment. In life, we will all make mistakes. That is unavoidable. But the people who achieve the most are the ones who learn not only from their own failures, but also from the experiences of others. They turn these lessons into knowledge, wisdom, and action. They recognize that mistakes are not just obstacles. They are teachers, mentors, and guides that can illuminate the path to success today. I want to talk about something that is shaping the future of work, business, and life itself, the power of adaptability. In the past, success was often about skills, knowledge, and experience. But in today's world, where technology evolves rapidly and industries transform overnight, the ability to adapt is more valuable than any single skill or qualification. Those who can change, learn, and embrace new circumstances will thrive, while those who resist change risk falling behind. I remember when I first encountered the internet. At that time, very few people in my country knew what it was or understood its potential. Most people thought it was a novelty, a passing trend. But I saw something different. I saw a tool that could connect people, open markets, and create opportunities that were unimaginable before. It required me to adapt, to learn quickly, and to take risks in a space that was unknown and unfamiliar. Those who refuse to adapt miss the chance to be part of a new era. Adaptability starts with mindset. You must be willing to accept that the world is constantly changing and that yesterday's success does not guarantee tomorrow's. People who resist change often cling to habits, processes, or ideas that no longer serve them. They avoid uncertainty because it is uncomfortable, but the reality is that discomfort is a signal of growth. Adaptable people embrace uncertainty. They see it as a challenge, a puzzle, and an opportunity to innovate. Learning is the foundation of adaptability. To adjust to new circumstances, you must be curious, observant, and willing to step outside your comfort zone. Many people rely solely on their existing knowledge, believing it will carry them forward. But the world moves faster than any single person can. Adaptable individuals commit to lifelong learning, seeking knowledge from multiple sources, experimenting, and reflecting on their experiences. They understand that being rigid in thought or practice is the quickest way to become irrelevant. Adaptability also requires courage. Change often comes with risk, and risk brings fear. Many of the greatest opportunities in life appear intimidating at first. Those who hesitate, who wait for certainty, often miss the moment. But those who are adaptable are willing to take calculated risk, to fail, and to learn from their failures. They see fear as a guide, not a barrier. They understand that growth is uncomfortable and that progress requires stepping into the unknown. Another essential aspect of adaptability is resilience. Change is rarely smooth, and adapting to new circumstances often involves setbacks. Those who adapt effectively are able to absorb challenges, recover quickly, and continue moving forward. They do not see obstacles as insurmountable, but as temporary detours. Resilience and adaptability work hand in hand because the ability to change is meaningless without the strength to persist through difficulty. Communication is also critical. When the world changes, collaboration becomes essential. Adaptable people listen, share ideas, and seek input from diverse perspectives. They are not afraid to challenge their own assumptions or learn from others. They understand that adaptability is not just personal. It is collective. Organizations, teams, and communities that embrace change thrive because they combine individual flexibility with shared vision and cooperation. Adaptability is closely linked to innovation. Those who resist change may cling to old methods and miss opportunities to improve, grow, or create something entirely new. But adaptable people see possibilities where others see problems. They experiment, iterate, and refine their approach. They are willing to pivot when necessary, and they understand that progress often comes from flexibility rather than rigid planning. Finally, adaptability requires vision. It is not about reacting blindly to every change that occurs. It is about understanding the trends, anticipating challenges, and preparing to respond intelligently. People who combine adaptability with a clear vision can navigate uncertainty with confidence. They can seize opportunities that others overlook and position themselves for long-term success. In today's fast-paced world, adaptability is no longer optional. It is a survival skill, a growth strategy, and a key to unlocking potential. Those who embrace change, learn continuously, act courageously, and persist with resilience will find themselves not only surviving but thriving. Adaptability allows you to turn challenges into opportunities, uncertainty into creativity, and disruption into advantage. Today, I want to talk about one of the most important qualities that determine success in life and business: vision. Vision is more than just an idea or a goal. It is a clear picture of the future you want to create, a compass that guides your decisions, and a source of motivation when challenges arise. Without vision, even the most talented, hardworking people can feel lost, uncertain, or stuck in routines that lead nowhere. Vision gives direction, purpose, and the courage to take risks when others hesitate. I remember the early days of my journey. I had no resources, no connections, and very little experience. What I did have was a vision, a belief that technology could connect people, that small businesses could reach global markets, and that innovation could create opportunities where none seemed to exist. That vision kept me moving forward when everything seemed impossible. It allowed me to see possibilities where others saw barriers, to take steps that seemed risky, and to inspire others to join me on the journey. Vision gives you clarity when the path is uncertain and energy when obstacles feel overwhelming. Vision is not born overnight. It develops from observation, curiosity, and reflection. People with vision pay attention to the world around them. They notice trends, challenges, and gaps that others ignore. They ask questions, imagine alternatives, and think about how things could be better. Visionaries are not satisfied with the way things are. They are motivated by the way things could be. This mindset allows them to innovate, to create solutions, and to influence the future rather than merely react to it. Vision also requires courage. Many ideas will be dismissed, many goals will seem too ambitious, and many paths will be filled with uncertainty. Vision gives you the strength to act even when success is not guaranteed. It allows you to take risks, to endure setbacks, and to stay committed to your purpose. People with vision understand that obstacles are part of the journey and that persistence, creativity, and courage are essential to turning ideas into reality. Communication is another essential aspect of vision. A vision that cannot be shared cannot inspire. People with vision learn to express their ideas clearly, passionately, and convincingly. They engage others, build trust, and motivate teams to work together toward a common goal. Vision becomes powerful when it inspires collective action, when others see the possibilities and believe they can contribute to making it real. Leaders with vision understand that it is not just about their own success. It is about creating impact, opportunity, and value for others. Vision is closely linked to long-term thinking. Many people focus on short-term gains, immediate results, or quick wins. Visionary thinking goes beyond the present. It considers where you want to be in 5, 10, or 20 years. It prioritizes strategic choices over temporary convenience, long-term growth over instant gratification, and sustainable impact over fleeting success. Vision allows you to make difficult decisions today because you understand the bigger picture tomorrow. Learning and adaptability strengthen vision. The world changes constantly, and even the clearest vision may need adjustment over time. People with vision are open to learning from experiences, from others' successes and failures, and from changing circumstances. They refine their vision, adapt strategies, and stay flexible without losing sight of their ultimate goal. This combination of clarity and adaptability is what allows vision to remain relevant and achievable in a complex, dynamic world. Finally, vision inspires resilience. When challenges arise, people with vision endure because they see beyond the immediate difficulties. They know that temporary setbacks do not define the outcome, that obstacles are part of the process, and that persistence fueled by purpose is powerful. Vision provides hope, motivation, and a sense of meaning that sustains effort when the journey is long and difficult. Every successful person, company, and movement begins with a vision. Vision transforms ideas into reality, inspires action, and shapes the future. It is the spark that ignites creativity, the compass that guides decisions, and the force that motivates persistence. Those who cultivate vision, who dream boldly, act courageously, and inspire others will find themselves not only achieving their goals, but also leaving a lasting impact on the world. Vision turns challenges into opportunities, uncertainty into innovation, and ambition into legacy.